Okay, I don't give a shit what anybody says. This episode of My Hero Academia, I believe episode 6, hands down, absolutely great fucking episode. This is the episode I think a lot of people have been waiting for things to really kick off and shit like that. But aside from action and aside from cool shit like that, one of the things that I felt this episode brought forth for the series and for the characters and everything was Deku's development. In 6 episodes, he still is realistic in a sense of like, he's not just, he turned into All Might in 6 episodes, but to see his development from a fucking coward that would fucking snibble under his mom's skirt to this episode, he's telling Bakugo, yo, yeah, I'm a little scared, but I ain't playing this game no more. I'm not a punk. I'm not gonna be worthless. I'm gonna do my best. And oh my gosh, just seeing that development as a person, as a character, and everything with Deku in this episode, that was top notch, honestly. It really just showcased his character and everything who he is. Honestly, he shits on a lot of main characters in Shonen. I'm gonna put it right now, like when I made the comparison a couple weeks back to Tsunayoshi Sawada from Hitman Reborn, the difference between Deku and a character like Tsunayoshi Sawada that was mainly a pussy, even through to the end, he was a scaredy cat and shit like that, but when shit went down, he would get serious, and when he was in Dying Will mode, he was an awesome character. Deku, he still has sort of an element of that, but it doesn't necessarily take like a life or death situation. Like the braveness is already slowly creeping in, and he doesn't need a transformation for that. It just is already becoming a part of him. So I love to see that character development of him morphing into more of a brave person, more of a sturdy individual, so to speak. And yeah, this episode really, Deku rocked it out completely. Got a couple extra bits here and there, kind of learning more of like, he basically can't keep wrecking his body because even though her healing powers, that teacher or whatever, like it heals them, it's ultimately using their body's healing techniques. So essentially he can die if he keeps on fucking his arm up. So it's kind of putting limitations to him, just saying, hey, I could just use my arm, fucking punch the ground, and eventually somebody will heal me. It's like, it's kind of giving more limitations and making it more like, oh yeah, this is a struggle. He really needs to master this quirk very soon, or at the very least get a hold of it. Not master it, but like, yo, he can't just keep on fucking destroying his arm and saying, fuck it, somebody will heal me. And on Mother's Day, I gotta give props to Deku's mother. It felt very fitting that this episode dropped on Mother's Day over here, because she kind of understood her mistakes she made when he was younger, when he was crying there and saying, like, oh, I just want to be cool like All Might and shit like that as a child. And she said, I'm sorry. And the proper words she should have said is, you can be anything you want to be. And her learning from her mistakes and making him that costume and everything. Definitely shout out to Deku's mom. I love characters like that, even though she's not, main character or anything like that. She's a very small, minor side character, but just seeing her understanding her mistakes and wishing she didn't do that and stuff like that, really cool stuff. And I really like to get that little extra element of Deku's mom and kind of adding into his character and him saying, you know what, my mom is behind me now I'm gonna really kick some ass. I ain't gonna lie, I'm not that fond of his costume that he got, because we got the costumes in this episode of like what they're gonna be rocking and shit like that. Deku's costume was like, I could see the All Might inspiration, like even All Might pointed out and laughed and shit like that with the 2 antenna things and the smile or whatever. Wasn't that big of a fan. It looked more so like a side character thing, but I guess also his costume is gonna have hopefully some development as the series goes on, so it doesn't look that generic, and it's kind of like, he looks like his name could be like Frog Dude or something like that, and like, that's not how you're gonna become Superman, so to speak, of this universe and stuff like that. You're gonna have to have something that stands out. So the costume is like, it's cool, his mom made it for him and shit like that, but definitely that needs to have development as we go on in the series. And as I was talking about in last week's episode with Bakugo's character, how he was going to react to Deku kind of having this quirk now, it's interesting to see his character. Like, he's one of those people that he's a bully, he's an asshole, but at the same time, the way that he gets angry or the reasons that he gets angry isn't just like this motherfucking bitch or whatever. Like, you can see that there's some sort of, in his own weird way, camaraderie between him and Deku. It's not just that he's a bully and he's an asshole. There's a little bit more to it, and I think because he always felt like he was superior to Deku, and he has this, chip on his shoulder saying, I'm gonna be better than All Might and all that shit, you kind of get to see a little bit more of him in this episode when we got the reaction from like, oh shit, Deku has a quirk or whatever. You see that it's like, yeah, he wants to bully him and shit like that, but he also feels like tricked and betrayed. Maybe along the way in his twisted head, he thought, you know what, I'm strong and shit like that, and he's a weakling and he's a bitch or whatever, he's my bitch, but it was also in his own mind to protect him. So like, when I become a hero, I'm gonna protect my friend. And the fact that now he knows that he has this incredible quirk, he's probably curious, like, where the fuck did it come from? I knew this guy since we were kids, so did he trick me this entire time and had it and he was hiding it? But also, it's kind of like, I can't save this dude anymore. I honestly think maybe I'm going a little bit too deep with it, but I wouldn't be surprised if that was one of the thoughts in Bakugo's mind this entire time. Even though he was being a bully and an asshole and everything. Maybe that's what he wanted to do when he got to be a big superhero. And I mean, aside from that, didn't really get too many of the other characters. I want to see more of the other kids kind of interacting and stuff like that. We basically got the main ones that continue to be a part of the main story and stuff like that, like Uraraka and Ida and stuff like that. But I definitely want to see some of the other characters because I read the manga and I know a lot of the other characters are really awesome as well and interesting. But let me know what you guys think. What did you think about that ending? Fucking Bakugo getting bopped. I mean, even the way Deku did it, it wasn't just like an ass pull. Like all of a sudden, Deku fucking can whip ass and shit like that. It was like he studied, he took his nerdism of studying people and shit like that that he felt were great and used it to his advantage to fucking knock Bakugo the fuck down. And like, what do you think about overall that ending of him just being like a beast and saying, you know what, I'm still scared, but I'm gonna fucking stand my ground? And honestly, did you feel it was inspirational for anybody that's ever been bullied in the world? Like, do you feel as though seeing his confidence and his strive to not be a wimp anymore kind of give you a little bit of courage yourself? And your overall thoughts of the episode? Great fucking episode. I gotta say 9 or a 9.5 out of 10 for this episode. Awesome shit, great shit. I can't wait to see the climax of Deku versus Bakugo and this little training exam. But thanks for watching. If you enjoyed anything about this video, make sure to drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and stalk my Facebook to get more when the video ends. I'm Finette World, and as always, people, have an awesome day.